DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today we're going to talk about the 80% rule. Now, this is not the same as the 80-20 principle. It just happens to be the same number. 80-20 principle is Pareto's principle. 80% of your outputs, 20% of your inputs. That's not what I'm talking about here. But that 80% number is a universal number when it comes to several principles in life. This 80% rule is really about a few things. First of all, is understanding that in your life in general, you had to decide what 80% of your ideal situation you're going to be able to achieve, and what 20% you're okay with it being either non-existent or average. 20% of your life of all your goals. So basically, you take everything you want to achieve in life, everything you want your life to be like, and you're going to get 80% of it. You'll make it exactly as you want. The other 20%, you might get halfway. You might get somewhat of the way. It's going to be mediocre, average. It's not going to be exactly as you want. About 20% of it, but 80% you can get exactly as you desire. Now, how am I so sure that this is true? Because some of you are like, well, Dre, forget that. You listening to me right now, you're 24 years old, you like, Dre, listen, over the next 20 years, I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna be smart, I'm gonna invest in myself, I'm gonna do all the things I gotta do, I'm gonna get 100% of what I want, Dre, so I don't know what you're talking about. I want you to understand something, that you are still a mere mortal, you are a flawed human being, and the best plans of mice and men often go awry. I'm telling you that not in a negative way, but to help you understand that yes, you got the goals, you got dreams, you got ambitions, you got all these great things that you want, and you look around on, especially in media today, social media and all of that, is everybody's putting on a show. You listen to certain people on social media, you let them tell it, they got everything perfect exactly as they want. But if you go deep, if you were to be able to go deep, you probably can't with most people. You shouldn't put all your business on social media, but for people who do, there's a 20% that's not perfect for every human being on this planet. Even the people who are doing everything at a high level, there's 20% that is mediocre at best. That's the first point, is that you need to decide. I'm not telling you this is a bad thing, but a good thing is you need to decide what's your 80 and what's your 20. What are the 80% of things that you absolutely will not settle on? What's the 20% of things that you're like, you know what? If I don't become amazing at this, I'm good with that. I'm good with that because I want to be amazing at this right here. What are you willing, in other words, what are you willing to give up in order to get the things that you want? I mean, we all understand that, right? We all understand that there are no perfect scenarios in life. There are only trade-offs. There is no perfect scenario. So the question is, what do you want to be perfect, and what are you okay trading to get that perfection? In what aspect of your life? You gotta decide this. So there are some people out there who are, some of you are really hard grinding when it comes to your business and your career. So in exchange for getting your business and career exactly as you want it, you may have no relationships with your kids and your significant other, but it ain't as great as it could be because you're giving a lot of your time and attention to your career and your business. That's a trade-off. Are you okay with that trade-off? And some people, it's, no, I'm willing to do less in my career and my business so that I can spend more time with my significant other and my kids. That's a trade-off as well. So the question is, what's the trade-off that you're willing to make? You got to ask yourself that question. When you are, and also this 80% rule also applies to people. So if you're running a business, for example, and you hire people, if you ever hired people, here's something you should accept, is that nobody you hire is going to be, let me not say nobody. Most of the people you hire are not going to be as good at the job, especially if they're replacing you. You hire somebody to do your job in your place. Nobody is going to be as good as you at your thing. Most of them are not going to be as good as you. The best person you find will be able to do what you do at about 80% of the level at which you do it. And you got to be okay with that, because that's the only way you'll be able to delegate. Because if you're holding out for someone who has everything that you want, you got a problem, because or they have every skill that you have, or they have every ability, or they'll do things exactly as you want them to do it is probably not going to happen. That's probably not going to happen. And if you do find that person, well, eventually they're going to leave you. They can do their own business. They can do everything you can do while they're working for you. All right, so think about that. So you need to, and this is also in relationships. In relationships, you can lay out your perfect man or perfect woman that you want. The person who you end up with, ideally, like your the best person you could end up with, and you should make a choice at some point. Don't be holding out like, oh, this person's not perfect, so I'm not going to get with them. Understand, the person you end up with is probably going to offer about 80% of what you want. The question is, what of the 20% are you willing to not have in order to get that 80% from that individual? All keeping in mind that we are on the clock when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career, when it comes to your choice in a mate, a spouse. You're on the clock. Like, there's only so much time you have to make a decision here, so you don't want to keep passing on somebody. Oh, this person's only 80%. No, they're only 80%, and you're waiting for that 100 to come along. That 100 ain't coming along. All right, that's the point. 80% is the most you're going to get out of any one individual. 80% is the most you're going to get out of you, as a matter of fact. I'm not saying out of your, even when we're talking about talent and potential, again, as I already said at the beginning of this video, you're not going to do 100% of every single thing that's on your list. But as the saying goes, and this is the reason why this cliche exists, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land amongst the stars. That cliche exists because people understood this principle that I'm just putting flesh to this principle. That's the 80% rule. So you got to decide here, what trade-offs are you willing to make? This is the idea that I want you to keep in mind. There are no perfect scenarios in life. There are only trade-offs. So what are you willing to trade off? What are you willing to not get? That's the 20% in order to get the 80% that is absolutely non-negotiable for you. You should think about this so that you can focus, so you can put more of your focus into whatever that 80% is going to be, whether that means people, your career, your goals, whatever it is that you're doing. What's that 80% that you are going to focus on so you can trade off that 20? All that said, text me to get my daily motivation text. My number is 305-384-6894. When y'all see this video, it'll still be a chance for you to get a ticket to my next event, Work On Your Game Live. Get that at workonyourgame.live. That event is February 3rd and 4th here in Miami, and it's raining here in Miami. It won't be raining February 3rd and 4th, so this will be a beautiful time for you to come to South Florida. And next step for you to work with me is joining my university. That's where all my coaching programs are at. That's where all my courses are at, and is also where you get my monthly physical mailings. I send a physical mailing out every month, twice a month, to everyone who's in my university. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. So you got your 3 steps: university, daily motivation text, and get your ticket to my event, workonyourgame.live. Work on your game. Dre all day.